All right, today we're going to dive deep into the sun-scorched, dust-choked streets of a city under siege. And it's not just a siege by war, but by an ideology that really tries to crush the human spirit. This is our explainer on Yasmina Khadra's incredible novel, The Swallows of Kabul.
Right from the get-go, we are dropped into this landscape that's just been scarred by endless war. The author isn't just describing a place, he's painting this portrait of a world where hope itself feels like it's been burned right out of the earth.
And out of all that desolation, we see Kabul. But listen, this is no beacon of hope. The way Khadra introduces the city, it's not just a setting. It's like a living, breathing character that's on the verge of total collapse. A body in its final, agonizing stages.
And this, right here, this is the novel's central, absolutely devastating idea. The ruin isn't just in the buildings and the walls. It has spread, like a disease, into people's souls. The physical rubble of the city is just a mirror for the shattered spirits of everyone who lives there. So what does it actually mean to live in a city like this? Let's meet the people whose lives are trapped and completely defined by these very ruins.
So we follow the parallel journeys of two men, and their lives really show us the different ways the regime just eats away at the human spirit. First, there's Atiq, the jailer. He's totally trapped by his duty and his past. Then you've got Mohsen, who used to be the successful guy, and now he's just lost, a ghost wandering through the ruins of his own city.
For these guys, stuck in their own daily despair, the suffocating routine of the city is about to be absolutely shattered by a horrifying act of public violence. So the word gets out. The authorities announce a public execution, and the city square, a place that should be about community, it transforms into an arena, a stage for a brutal spectacle.
A mullah steps up, and he masterfully frames this woman's death. It's not a tragedy, no. It's a righteous spectacle for the crowd. It's presented as this necessary public cleansing of sin.
Now, this is where it gets really chilling. Mohsen, a man who absolutely loathes these events, finds himself just swept up in the collective hysteria, and in a moment of pure madness, he becomes a part of the very violence he detests.
But that one single public act of violence, it doesn't just end in the square. Now we get to see how that horror seeps behind closed doors, poisoning the most private spaces from the inside out. When he gets home, Mohsen confesses this unthinkable act to his wife Zunaira. And he's not terrified of being caught. No, he's terrified of the man he just discovered inside himself.
Zunaira, she used to be a magistrate, a believer in justice. She is completely petrified. And her question, it's not just shock, it's a signal, it's a deep fracture opening up right in the middle of their relationship, a chasm of disbelief and horror.
Meanwhile, in another home, Atiq the jailer is feeling his own sanity start to fray. He's trapped between the literal, dead silence of his jail and the agony of his dying wife, Musarrat, at home. The walls are closing in on him, both outside and in.
His wife confronts his cold silence, and it reveals a marriage that is just collapsing under this immense weight of sickness and unspoken despair. Her words are just this desperate plea for connection in a world that is pulling everyone apart.
So, with their homes becoming these prisons of silence and shame, you'd think maybe they could find some escape in the streets, right? But the next day, any attempt to reclaim even a tiny piece of their old lives just reinforces the brutal reality that the entire city is a cage.
Mohsen, trying to find just a shred of their past, convinces Zunaira to take a walk. And he starts reminiscing about the vibrant, beautiful city that's been lost, a world of life and color that has been totally replaced by a world of shadows and fear.
For Zunaira, this isn't just a walk. It's a profound humiliation, and it's symbolized by the burqa. It's not just a piece of cloth to her. It is an erasure of her very being. It turns her from a person into an anonymous, hidden thing. And then, for a brief moment, they connect. They share a laugh, and it's brutally punished. This scene shows with chilling clarity that under this regime, there is no such thing as a private life, even in public. Every small act of humanity is a crime.
So after that public humiliation, the control just deepens. Mohsen's forced into a mosque, and this is where the regime moves beyond physical punishment to reinforce its inescapable psychological power. Mullah Bashir delivers this fiery sermon. And his first point is absolute. The West has failed. It has collapsed. It's not an opinion.
it's just declared as a fact.
He paints the West as the source of all vice and corruption. It's not just a failed model. He says it's a hollow dream that is finally dissolved, leaving nothing but decay behind.
So here's the crucial point. He calls for a new world order, one built on their ideology. Victory isn't just a goal. He says it's their vocation, their destiny, and paradise is the ultimate reward for their fight.
And so the novel leaves us with this haunting question. It really forces us to look past the politics and the battles to consider the profound, devastating cost of extremism on individual humanity. When the soul itself becomes a ruin, what hope is there for ever rebuilding?